And now on Nights with Steve Price, the Courses and Careers Show with Danny Bielik. Thanks to Management Consultancy International. Go to mci.edu.au.
Danny, good evening. Great to have you in the studio.
How are you, Steve?
Good. We're going to talk to Branka in a moment. Also,
Sure.
There was a story just coincidentally last week about a small business owner in Western Sydney by the name of Gordon Carlson. He's gone off about this online.
Yeah.
And he's copped a whack of abuse from people saying, you can't say that about workers.
I mean, it was quite amazing. He posted it was a little bit of a spray, Steve, to be honest. But, he had some quite constructive criticism that I think, could be seen as really helpful advice for a lot of people who are looking for jobs. Don't turn up late. Turn up like you mean it. Behave yourself. Don't eat and drink during interviews. Look like you've got at least a halfway decent attitude. Don't seem disinterested. And boy, oh boy, did he cop an
We'll go through those details in a sec. Give us a call, 131873. What is the worst example you've had of people who have come to you after you've advertised for an employee and you've organised the job interview? What sort of things have happened and come across your doorstep? Branka Dosen has told me this story a couple of times. It's my local, where I get my coffee.
Yep.
She, and don't they do a fantastic double shot?
Barcino and Kirribilli, unbelievable.
Yep, very good coffee. Branka, good evening.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, we read this story about the small business owner, Gordon Carlson, who gave it to a whole lot of people who came along ill-prepared. Mm-hmm. You've been advertising in the local paper and on Gumtree. Your first problem you had difficulty getting people to actually apply for the job, didn't you?
Look, I had a lot of people inquiring, but that's all they were doing. They were just inquiring. There was no real follow-up on their end, so I don't know what they wanted.
So, Branka, what did that mean when you said that they were inquiring? Did they just get to the bottom line and say, how much are you paying, or what did they want to know?
No, they'd inquire. They'd say, I'm interested in the job, and I'd call them up and, well, I can only work 5 hours, or they're just, I don't know if they want to work.
It seems quite unbelievable. I mean, give us a little bit of a breakdown of what does a job look like. This is a small cafe in Kirribilli, right near the train station, so it's close to transport, right?
Nice and busy.
Yep.
Busy?
It's a minute away from the station. It's busy.
Easy to get to, plenty to do.
2 big schools near it, so a lot of school kids as customers.
Interesting people to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's such a lovely area. Like, everyone's really friendly and warm, and the staff that I do have there have been there, for 6 years, a few of them. And I do have a lot of uni students that come through, and they stay there until they finish their degree. So I don't have a high turnover.
Yep.
So in this instance, you were after someone to cook, and
so we need a cook.
Yep.
And doing breakfast and light lunches. And a few are serving customers, like an all-rounder, but basically
so this was
mainly a cook.
This was quite a straightforward job, wasn't it? I mean, you didn't have to go out to the markets.
No, and even I advertised, and with at least a year's experience, but also if you had a passion for food, you can cook. If you love food, you love cooking, I'm happy to take someone like that on. They have a strong desire, to work and so forth. But nothing.
And it wasn't exactly, you didn't have to work bad hours. I mean, the hours were quite.
No, there was no night out. There was no night work. You finish at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
great job,
dream job.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
So, what sort of people started turning up?
Oh God, I have so many stories. I mean, look, I had one guy come in and I said, we organised for a 2 o'clock appointment because we're a bit quieter at that time. He rocked up at 11 and said, well, I'm here. I said, well, I'm really busy. And he said, well, I want an interview. And I said, look, if I have a moment, I'll sit down with you, And finally I did sit down with him, and about a minute into the interview, his phone rang. And I thought, okay, sometimes you do forget to put on silent, not a problem. But he looked at his phone, and without even looking at me, he just stuck his finger in my face as to say,
What?
wait.
To say, go be quiet.
Yeah, and he just answered the call and just started chatting away. And I looked at him and I thought, are you for real? And I just got up and I walked away. And then after about 5 minutes, he had the nerve to come up to me and say, "Oh, I'm ready now."
Oh, how nice. Okay, well, that was nice that he could make the time for you.
I thought, really? Yeah, I've got a lot of stories like that. It's disappointing. I don't know what it is, but just common.
Well, you're the mother.
courtesy.
You're a mother of a couple of young sons. Your boys would never act like that, would they?
Oh God, no. No, they haven't been brought up that way. But I just consider that to be common courtesy, just the basics in life. I'm finding a lot of people don't have. I might get in trouble for that, but it's really hard to find.
So were you finding that most of the people who were turning up were younger or older? Or like...
No, I had a mixture. I did have a lot of younger people, a few older ones. But everyone's just really picky. Like in my ad, it does say what days and hours, and they just come to you with what they want.
Right. I mean, it's not like it's exactly a buyer's market. I mean, we've seen unemployment going up, Steve.
Yeah.
It's been north of 6% for a little while now. It looks like it's stuck there. And when we talk about 6%, we're talking about 6% nationally. In some parts of Sydney, youth unemployment is up around 25%. So it's not like it's a buyer's market.
But I can tell you, Danny, this is a very friendly cafe.
Absolutely.
Branka's a lovely woman, and the other staff there are all great guys, and yeah, the whole the vibe of the place is a little team there working hard to provide great coffee and good food. I mean, Branka, give us another example of somebody who just came along and was obviously disinterested.
We had another girl come in, and I've had not just a girl. I've had a couple that came in for the interview, and after the interview I said to him, look, you seem great. There were a couple of those, and I said, well, it's not just me liking you. You need to feel comfortable here. How do you feel? And they go, oh, this is great. Everyone's really friendly. So we, book a time in for them to start, and they don't even show up.
And they don't show up. I me's unbelievable, isn't it?
What, you gave them the job and they didn't turn up?
Yep. Yeah. Well, you put them on a trial.
Yeah.
Talk's talk. You want to see what they're like in the kitchen, and nothing.
So,
do they text you or anything? Do they let you know that?
No.
They just don't show up.
Well, I'm free during the day. Perhaps I could do it.
Well, come along.
Maybe I could earn a few bob on the side.
Steve, I think Brunka wants to keep her customers.
Oh, right, okay. I'm a pretty good cook.
You are?
Yeah, I am.
All right, we'll give you a go, Steve.
Right, I'll go on trial tomorrow.
So, give us an idea. I mean, if you've had some people through, but you're still not having a whole lot of luck. Give us some of the other places apart from advertising the newspapers. You mentioned that you also tried the local TAFE as well.
Yeah, I've called the local TAFE, and I've left messages. No one's really calling me back.
That's amazing because, to be honest, if I was a student and I was going to a government-funded TAFE, which is what, a TAFE is a government-funded school, and they're supposed to be helping. They're certainly overstaffed. There's no issue with staffing, so they should have plenty of people to return your phone call, and they don't. I can tell you that there are plenty of people. This is a great stepping stone into the hospitality industry, Steve.
Yes.
If you're wanting to prove yourself and go and work in some of the amazing kitchens that we have around Australia and around the world. I mean, this is a portable skill as they come. Everybody needs to eat. Brunka's Cafe, you would think this is the best place to start. Equally... and there are plenty of keen people, Brunka, who, are not just going and studying at TAFE and not just learning to be cooks at TAFE. So around you there, quite close to you there, you've got the International College of Management who teaches some of, these are people who are looking to be managing events and managing restaurants and all of those sorts of things. All of their students, I know, are looking for jobs, and they have people there who will return your phone call. Likewise, there's Evolution in the city. They train, thousands of cooks every year. You've got the Blue Mountains Hospitality School, the William Blue Hospitality School.
So what's
don't
Branka done wrong there? She's advertised in the wrong places. We were going to I think you've found someone now, haven't you? Because we were going to find you someone in 5 minutes flat, but you now have managed to find someone.
Well, I think I do. Another a friend of mine that I know that has another cafe in another area. This person happens to be a customer of his.
Yep.
He's coming in now, so we'll see how we go. But he seems keen and happy bloke.
Well, if it doesn't work out, we'll have a crack for you.
Oh, that'll be great. But in saying that, with my cafe, I do have a lot of small business owners that do come in, and they have exactly the
same stories, Danny.
I do.
Yep.
Landscaping, plumbing, it just goes on, and we just don't get it. We're rattling our heads like, what is it? Like, where
we
do
were
find
talking about this in the office today, and I was talking with some other people, and they're all saying exactly the same thing. People not showing up, people eating and drinking during interviews. Crazy.
Well, we're going to have a general discussion about that and why people don't want to work. Branka, thank you very much. Good luck with it. Let us know if you need any more assistance.
Okay, thanks. Have a great evening.
Good on you, Branka Dosen there. Kirribilli, Pacino Bar. If you're in that area, go there and grab a coffee. Hello, Tony.
Hi, how you going, Steve?
Good, thanks for hanging on, Tony.
I'm going okay. I'm just listening to that lady. We got a little pizza restaurant, a family-orientated restaurant at Ellensburg, and we have, for the last 6 or 7 months, haven't been able to pick up a kitchen hand anywhere. Kitchen hand, even a waitress. It's so bad, as the lady said. They come in, they go for the interview, start at 5 o'clock tomorrow, they don't show up.
Unbelievable. So, what sort of things are happening? I mean, are you speaking to the local schools in the area and the local TAFEs and colleges in the area and being able to get people through there?
I did go to Loftus TAFE and I put a couple of little flyers on their notice board, but as I said, a couple of people did ring me. As I said, got a job in. They said, can we come for an interview? I'm waiting there at 3 o'clock because we open at 5. It's supposed to be there at 3 o'clock. Comes 5 o'clock. There's still no one there. No phone calls, no nothing. They just, look, where we are is a little bit harder than normal. The train station is a bit far. So really to come over there to be more than fair, you need a car.
What should Tony do?
Look,
Sorry?
I mean, in your area, Tony, there's still a lot of people and a lot of schools. There is a TAFE close by. Car transport probably is needed. But, to be honest...
most people have got a car.
Yeah, I think so. Or they can usually arrange a lift or something like that. Give us an idea of the hours, Tony. What are we talking about?
We're looking between 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 o'clock at night. It's not a long hour. They
Right.
just... 5, sometimes 3 o'clock.
Perfect uni student hours, aren't they?
Yeah,
Exactly.
well,
Exactly.
and that's what I would have thought. So unis would be your first bet. What about would you take some pretty keen school kids who are year 11, year 12?
Oh, a bit,
Well,
bit young.
they're a bit young to put them in the kitchen. I mean, we can really...
No, but I mean waiting tables. I've been waited.
Waiting tables, yes.
Year 12, you're not going to be going there.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard, but we at the moment, because I haven't been able to get anybody for the last 8 months. We're really struggling.
I'm going to make...
We'll get Tony's details too, because if someone wants to put their hand up for that job, we'll put you in touch with Tony. No problem.
That'll be great, because, as I said, the last 4 months I needed to go and get a hip replacement. Mate, I had to put it off because we can't get staff. It's just incredible.
There's the
I
byproduct.
can't believe it. I just can't, and we pay top dollar. They just, as I said, they come in for the job interview and they just walk away. Say, no, I don't want it.
How many days a week is that?
Well, they can pick it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 6 days a week.
Perfect.
It's great. It's even good for mums and all sorts of things.
Yeah, that would be nice actually if I could get a mother or something.
All right, you hang on, Tony. We'll get your details off you and we try and put you in touch with someone. Hello, Sam.
Good evening. How are you?
We're well. You're in the same boat?
Yes. I run a plumbing company here in Sydney, and trying to find someone is impossible. You can't do it. Advertise on all the major internet advertising agencies, even just small stuff. And you put on the job description that you must have a driver's license and be of an Australian resident. We don't want the hassle of sponsoring someone and
you don't want
them
4,
not
5, 7s.
having the right qualifications, etc. of overseas qualifications, blah blah.
Yep.
And you get people from Italy, from South Africa, from Germany, America, Canada. It's like, hello, do you not read the application? We out of every 10 people we get apply, about 1 or 2 of them would be
offshore.
Australian. And Then you reply to those people. They don't get back to you. You try and call them, leave messages, nothing. I had probably
We've
10
got
people
6%
apply.
unemployment in this country.
Yeah, but I then managed to get in contact with one guy, interviewed him, and said, okay, he wasn't really that good, wasn't really that happy to put him on, but I thought, you know what, we need someone badly. Some help is better than no help. So I thought, yeah. So I said to him, okay, would you like to start a trial next week? Well, I was thinking about maybe going down to Mudgee, but yeah, I'll let you know.
Oh no!
And it's like, and I said, but in the interview process, I said to him, what are you hoping for? Like, what do you want out of this job? What can we offer you? Well, I just want a full-time job. I just pretty much just want to work. And I said, oh, okay, what? How many days a week? Because I said we could pretty much give you almost as much as you wanted, you know. I said overtime, you know, probably even Sundays. Oh, well, yeah, 6 days a week. And I said, oh, okay, well, look, you know, at least he sort of wants to work. I thought, geez, this is fairly unusual. And then, well, I was going to go down to Mudgee, and I said, well, okay, well, what about the following week? Yeah, I suppose I could. Well,
You'd have to worry. You'd have to worry if he'd even turn up for work at all, wouldn't you, Sam?
Well, exactly. I thought, hang on, if this bloke is wanting a job, but he can't even.
No.
He's not even willing to commit to like a trial.
And then he tells he tells all his mates. Then he tells all his mates the market's bad.
So define the job for us, Sam. Give us a clear understanding what it is.
I would ideally like a tradesman plumber, or even a fourth year. Someone who's just polite, well dressed, you know, respectable, who can turn up for work, do a good day's work, not lie, be honest, and just do a job and you know, not take 6 days every 5 minutes. Actually, just go to work and do what you're supposed to do.
What area of Sydney, Sam?
Sutherland Shire and the city in the eastern suburbs, inner west. That's what areas we focus on. But we're based in the Sutherland Shire.
Well, you hang on again, Sam. Well, I'm sure we'll get people who are going to ring and want to have that. Come back with Danny after this.
You're listening to the Courses and Career Show with Danny Bielik. Thanks to Management Consultancy International. Go to mci.edu.au.
Danny's with us, 27 minutes past 9 o'clock, and Daniel says from Buyall, ask your guests why it's so difficult to work when you're over 50. I've actually told several times I'm too old or too experienced. Well, we've had that problem before.
It's it is a problem. It is definitely a problem. There is absolutely an entrenched problem with people not wanting to hire older people.
Don't know why.
And the ridiculous part about it is that these are the people who will stick with you. These are the people who will turn up on time. They will turn up dressed properly. They'll represent your company properly. They'll do a good job. They'll take their pay and they'll go home. You know, these are often the people who have the experience and the wherewithal to be able to do pretty much anything. They're usually happy to go across different jobs and not, you know, they've been through a lot of stuff. They're not going to say it's my job.
They're a lot more reliable.
Interestingly, this year there is a new program that's come out. The name of it escapes me, but it's there's some government funding available for hiring older people.
Greg's online in the Blue Mountains. How are you, Greg?
Mate, very well. Look, I run a small business, and it's in traffic management. Now, that's not just stop-and-go traffic control at work sites. That is a business that looks after safety at work sites. I put on two people, one guy in his 50s, another guy in his 30s. They both turned up for the job interview, and I said, right, okay, where's your ticket? Looked at the tickets, looked pretty good. The younger guy was very, very keen, single chap, said, look, my car's not working, I need to, you know, catch transport, but I can get a lift, I can get there to the job site. I said, look, thanks very much, you sound fantastic. The older guy's got his own car, again, looked pretty good, organised them for the next day's work, and the older guy decides that he doesn't want to work. He wants to go out and do a doctor's appointment.
Oh.
He rings up the other guy.
Why are they wasting your time then?
Look,
you feel like grabbing these blokes by the scruff of the neck and saying, for God's sake, I'm offering you a job. You say you want to do it, now you don't want to do it.
But the thing is, I had the work crew organised for the client. I had these two guys organised. I had them. One guy was going to pick the other guy up because he couldn't drive. They were both in the Blue Mountains, and they were both travelling not far to the job site.
Must drive you mad.
Well, it does, because they dropped me in the, you know what?
Yep.
because my client's expected to have this crew turn up. I'm at 6 o'clock in the morning ringing other people up saying, can you possibly help me out? And I managed to get the job done by calling up people who, were last-minute call-ins. And the guy's excuse was, well, he couldn't give me a lift because he went to the doctor, so therefore I've got to fix my car up. And they didn't ring me and tell me that they couldn't.
So would you use older workers on a job like that, Greg?
Normally I would. I'd love to use older workers. They, as you said, they dress better. Yep. They've got good responsibilities. They generally have a stable lifestyle.
And they turn up because if they say they're going to turn up, they turn up.
They turn up. Whereas you get the younger than 20, they're useless. Up to 25, they're pretty useless. Most of my guys are over 30. And I've got a casual crew of 15, 20 people.
Yep.
And I'd say the average age would be 38 to 42.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Danny, what's the problem with the work ethic in this country?
Right. I think, to be honest, and Greg, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think that, we spend so much time at school talking about, all the crowded curriculum, all the subjects that they have to do on social inclusion and all of this sort of stuff. But the actual meat and potato stuff, the actual guts of what it means to relate to other people, what it means to actually turn up for a job interview, how you have to present to relate to other people. Forget the job interview, but what about the first day of work, the second day of work? What does it mean when you walk out of your front door in the morning to have a little bit of pride in yourself? And these are the sorts of things that, when you walk in, when you pick up the phone and talk to an employer, they can instantly hear in your voice, you got a little bit of confidence, you mean business, yes, I'll give you the interview. And we're not seeing that.
Yeah, well, I put it down to, I don't know how many years ago, over 20 years ago now, easily, when they got rid of a lot of the apprenticeships.
Mm. Oh, definitely.
The Department of Main Roads, for instance, which is now the RMS.
Yep.
Apprenticeships have collapsed in Australia, no two ways about it. What are the career advisors doing at school?
Oh, no.
What are they doing?
Where are you advertising, Greg, for these people?
Word of mouth is my best advertisement.
Yep.
Word of mouth. Someone who's... I go to a training company who are training the traffic controllers and say, if you get someone coming through that is being trained and they aren't employed and they're looking for a job, give them my name.
Yep.
If they're interested.
Does it happen? Does it happen?
Yeah,
yep.
I do. I get references, but a lot of my people, these are new employees. They're very hard to keep the new employees. I've got people who've been with for 25 years as casuals.
Hmm.
But some of those guys say, look, I'm sick and tired of working on the road, standing on my feet all day, in the sun, in the rain, and I'm getting older. I want a better life. Some of them are getting sicker. Some of them, one fellow's an alcoholic. One fellow has had tobacco all his life. He's now got cancer. So while they want to work, their bodies
give up.
Can't.
Yeah,
all right.
But they're the guys you left.
You hang on,
call.
Greg. If we get any people who are interested in doing that sort of work, we'll certainly pass on your details as well. Danny Mark says, spoken to you a few times before about the frustration of job hunting and getting nowhere.
Yep.
I've been chasing an admin customer service role with little success, despite having well over 20 years' experience. Recently, I'm being told that despite all the hands-on experience, I will not gain employment again unless I go to TAFE.
Wow.
And obtain a certificate 3-4 in business admin. I find it ridiculous that all the experience gets completely ignored. Can you ask Danny his views on this? If there are any employers with anything on offer tonight, I'm certainly interested. As it stands, I can't see myself getting employment ever again, just based on my recent experiences. That's Mark in New South Wales.
Well, look, you've heard tonight, and we hear this time and time again, a training provider needs to not just do the training, but also be an advocate for their students as they're graduating. Who's returning the phone calls of the employers? We just heard from Greg, who said he has a really good network of training providers. He makes himself known. He goes and does these sorts of things. So if you've got a really good training provider, they'll help you through. Mark, look, I'm happy if Mark was to make contact with us here at 2GB, I can have a look at your CV.
I'll pass his email on to you. That won't be a problem. Hi, Steve and Danny. Do you have any sources in internet marketing?
Internet marketing. Yeah, look, I mean, there's plenty of people out there. The funny thing about internet marketing people is that they tend to be advertising themselves on the internet. LinkedIn is a really, really great place. It's one, top of my list for employers to find anybody is have
LinkedIn.
a really good network of training providers that they know and trust. Second would probably be LinkedIn. Make sure that you are effectively using LinkedIn. Go in there, search for people,
think I'm on
find them,
LinkedIn,
talk to
am
them. I hope you are. Well,
I don't know why.
You're looking for a new job?
No. I think my brother wanted to. I don't know. I don't understand what it does. Really?
It's Facebook for grown-ups. It's Facebook for jobs.
Really?
That's what it is, really.
Do I need to be on there?
You should be. You should be. Then you'll find out all the interesting things I'm doing and we're doing at
Okay.
MCI.
Well, I'm probably linked with you on LinkedIn. So, what are your tips for these people?
Look, realistically,
employers mainly.
Yeah, look, for employers, it is definitely a tough market out there. You've got a lot of people who aren't being trained how to present themselves and how to turn up and have the right attitude. So, look, you've got to make sure advertising is tough at the moment. You advertise on Seek, you advertise on Gumtree, and you get hundreds of applications because people can just go click, click, click with their mouse. They're not even reading the ads. I would say probably the best thing to do is your network. We heard tonight from, I think, Tony, Sam, Greg, and Brunker all basically said networks. It's the networks. Talk to other businesses in the area. Talk to some of the neighbourhood community business centres, and there's usually one in just about every, some of the commercial and business centres that are around, often government funded, so they provide their services for free. Have a chat with your local training provider in your area. If you've got jobs that are very specific, like being a cook, like being a safety person, go talk to a safety college, go talk to a cooking college. They will jump through hoops to help find you the right person. Another really good tip I find is making sure that you've got a few extra people up your sleeve just in case you get let down. Don't forget, everyone's entitled to get sick and everyone's entitled to go on holidays. You need to have a backup plan. You don't want to be hiring desperate. You want to be hiring at your luxury, which means you need to have a few people up your sleeve. Finally, Steve, I think people should have a think about trainees. I like trainees. You pay them less. You also are, because you're basically trying them out, you're also helping to train them. It's a different spin on like the old apprenticeship model.
Yep.
There's organisations like MEGT, and you can ring them on 13 MEGT, and they will help make sure that you've got the right person. Tell them you're looking for a cook. Tell them you're looking for an admin assistant, and they will help fit you with the person. There are all sorts of government rebates. You don't have to pay payroll tax on somebody while they're a trainee, and the person from the training company comes in all the time and helps support them.
Great stuff, Danny. Thank you. Great to talk to you next week.
Thanks, Steve.